With the release of the Galaxy S21 line, Samsung also introduced an update to their truly wireless earbuds. Despite having quite a few options in the lineup by now, ranging from long battery life to interesting bean designs, Samsung decided that they would put all of that together to create their version of a Pro earbud. Now, I've already done a review of these earbuds over on my channel, but weeks later, I have a couple of extra thoughts on these little earbuds, so let me put this out there right now. Despite me saying that these aren't the absolute best that I've ever used, the Galaxy Buds Pro have actually become my go-to everyday truly wireless earbuds. This is Pocketnow and I'm Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? These are the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro. The terminology of Pro might make you think that Samsung's track record of making small earbuds is shifting. Instead, Samsung managed to make earbuds that are basically the same size as the previous Galaxy Buds Live, to the point that style shells for the original Live can actually fit on the Buds Pro case. The overall footprint of the Galaxy Buds Pro is pleasantly small, making for a package that can be thrown easily in any pocket or bag. The case still has some smarts installed, with the USB-C port providing conventional charging, but you can also do wireless charging with this case. It's kind of nice to be able to put the Buds Pro case on a wireless charger while I'm using whatever phone was previously sitting on it. The result is me not worrying too much about how much battery life is left in the case, which means that as long as I have the habit of putting the buds back in, I don't have to worry too much about battery life. So while these don't have the longevity of the Galaxy Buds Plus, the give and take means I'll take the better sound in the Pro despite the sacrifice. Obviously, the actual shape of the Galaxy Buds Pro are different than the Galaxy Beans. In the first move toward what would constitute the word Pro, Samsung comes back to an in-ear driver that creates a seal in one's ears for better isolated sound. The result, inevitably, is a better bass response for a bit more bump than before. That's not to say that Samsung has completely moved away from the lessons that were learned from the Galaxy Buds Live. The Buds Pro still have that small vent that allows for just a little bit of air to filter through so that you don't have a total and potentially uncomfortable seal. And that little vent actually adds to the earbud's ambient sound feature, but I'm going to get to that more later. The Buds Pro have touch-sensitive areas on both earbuds that can be customized in the app, but basically provide the typical tap and hold controls. Single, double, and triple taps on either earbud give you playlist control, while holding down either earbud can control the volume, activate voice assistance, or change up the sound modes. Either earbud can be used on their own, making for the usual scenario for me where if I run out of battery with one of them, I can always just switch it back up and keep the background tunes or, let's say, podcasts or spoken word content going. And finally, if you want to turn on the pairing mode to get the Buds Pro connected to a new device, both earbuds have to be in and then pressed until that mode is activated. Now, obviously, sound and sound mode quality might be different across people's ears and their perspectives, of course, but in my review over at JV, I found that the Buds Pro provided a great listening experience that works for multiple genres of audio content, from hip-hop tunes to poppy R&B to electric songs from Daft Punk. Shouts out to them, end of an era. While I did say that there's better bass this time around, I will admit that I'm a little bit of a bass head, especially for my hip-hop songs, so it's good that in the Samsung app there are equalizer settings, so bass boost was an obvious choice. But for yet another layer of immersion on top of the raw sound profile, you get active noise cancellation. That's part of the joy of the Buds Pro, as now you get the more conventional design compared to the Galaxy Buds Live, which had active noise cancellation but in a more unique design. Now, the noise cancellation only works when you put both buds in, at which point you can select two levels, high or low. The high setting seems to make the bass response stand out even more, so if you have this on with the bass boost, you're definitely in for a bump. Overall, I'm really happy with the sound of the Galaxy Buds Pro, but I do have to restate the point I made in my first review. These are not the best sounding earbuds I've ever used. That accolade will actually go to the Sennheiser Momentum 2s. They're also not the best noise cancelling earbuds I've ever used either. That distinction still goes to the Sony WF Mark IIIs. But like I said at the beginning of this video, the Galaxy Buds Pro have become my go-to dailies, and it comes down to how practical they are for my personal utility. It honestly has to do with the last sound mode, ambient sound, what I'm literally using right now even with both earbuds in to talk to you in this video. Ambient sound is the mode that uses the microphones not to cancel out the outside world, but to actually funnel it in. And this is a feature that Samsung took further with detection, where the buds will automatically turn down the volume of the media and max out the ambience when its sensors and microphones can tell you're trying to talk to someone. It's sensitive enough so that the one sentence of "sorry, could you repeat that?" can trigger it. But while it is a nice mode to have, especially when you're just jamming out with both earbuds in, you can forget about singing along with your music. It will literally interrupt you so that you can hear other people but also yourself. Ultimately, it's only really useful for those incidental moments like a family member trying to get your attention. But personally, I prefer to have as much environmental awareness as possible when I'm out and about. So I actually turn the detection off and I just have ambient sound on pretty much all the time and turn it off when I want to. Speaking of talking to people, obviously you can talk to people like in the meet space, but you'll also use these earbuds probably for things like voice and video calls. So with that said, here is your mic test using both of the earbuds in and using the Samsung Galaxy S21, with the Pro Video mode having the Bluetooth audio be the only input for this video. Here's a mic test for you. And that all brings me to my use case scenario. If you want to have just some literal background tunes while running around and getting things done, you can do what I do and have just one of the buds in at half volume with ambient sound on max. Let's call this the multitasker scenario, in which I can listen to audiobooks, podcasts, news, or YouTube videos without it fully taking my attention away from the task at hand. I can continue enjoying that content even if I'm walking around a grocery aisle without blocking out speaking scenarios with like the workers or cashiers. And if I need even more open hearing, a quick tap to pause the media is just fine because the maxed out ambient sound mode in just one ear lets me comfortably interact. This is how I use the Galaxy Buds Pro more than half the time. You see, the fact that the sound is plenty good to enjoy, the active noise cancellation does a proper job of blocking out the world, and the ambient sound mode can help me maintain awareness makes these earbuds one of the most satisfyingly versatile pairs that I've ever used. It's not all high notes though, as Samsung's move to marry multiple features into a Pro model actually kind of makes the Galaxy Buds Pro regress a tiny bit backward in the fit department. Don't get me wrong, I love that these are the more typical earbud design because it means that low-end response is better. But it's almost as if Samsung prioritized making these as small as possible that they glossed over some of the design cues that might actually help these stay in your ear. The Galaxy Buds Live, with all of their quirks, fit real nicely, in my ears at least, while the wingtips of the Galaxy Buds Plus gave them that extra bit of needed security. I appreciate that the overall footprint of these earbuds is so small, but without these little extras, extended wear times for me eventually means that a bit of sweat, either internally or externally, makes them slip. It can get kind of annoying, and considering the vast differences in people's ear sizes and anatomy, obviously your mileage will probably vary. Now, you might have noticed in this video that I've been using the Galaxy Buds Pro with a phone that isn't even made by Samsung. The Buds Pro, like all Samsung accessories, can be used with any Android smartphone as long as you install the companion app. This means installing not just a front-end app, but also some back-end services. While all of these things are innate to any Samsung smartphone or tablet, if you don't have a Samsung phone, well, you're just going to have to install those extras to get the most out of these earbuds. Features that include sound mode switching, the equalizer, getting notifications read aloud, and using the Find My Earbuds feature that blares sounds from each earbud if you forgot to put them back in the case. But actually, for the low latency gaming mode feature, that is only available if you pair these with a Samsung phone. That's the thing about earbuds with a ton of features like these. Samsung tuned them for best use with a Samsung phone, which makes sense, but it is something you probably have to keep in mind. All things considered, the Galaxy Buds Pro provides so many features in a package that sums up the best parts of Samsung's previous audio devices. Even though the fit can be a point of contention for some of you, the practical use cases that each and every capability the Buds Pro brings to your ears makes them a pretty easy earbud to recommend. And if anything, the $199 price tag is right in the middle, between the more affordable offerings that don't have as many features, and the higher-priced competitors that excel in certain departments like the noise cancellation and the battery life. Despite each particular part not being the best, Samsung used the sum of these parts to pleasantly achieve the term Pro. And that's why they are literally my daily earbud drivers. And so, there you have it, the Galaxy Buds Pro. Obviously, they pair very well with a Samsung smartphone, but you can also get these to connect with just about any other computing device and you'll have a really good time with them. I certainly have been using them so much over the last number of weeks, and I will continue to do so. For more reviews on audio products like the Galaxy Buds Pro, and of course reviews in general across the world of tech, make sure you subscribe to Pocketnow if you haven't already. With all of that said, we're going to go ahead and call it on this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you in our next video.